Hello everyone, my name is Brianna and I'm a librarian in the Adult Services Department. Today I'd like to share with you a documentary that I watched this week on Canopy. Now, for those of you who don't know, Canopy is one of our online resources that you can access with your library card, and that platform has hundreds of movies, documentaries, and educational materials for you. I am a pretty big history buff, and I really enjoy PBS specials. So I was on Canopy browsing through their documentaries when I stumbled upon Triangle Fire. Now, Triangle Fire is a documentary about the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire of 1911.
Is it okay for workers to work where the conditions are so dangerous that it could cost them their lives?
A horrific tragedy.
This fire was instrumental in the labor union movement of the early 20th century, and something that I found out was that it was a contributing factor to women's suffrage in 1920. So I had learned about the Triangle Fire in school. It was a rather passing event in the grand scheme of the unit, but this documentary did a really good job of providing more in-depth information, but also making it relatable. I really enjoyed this documentary because it was split into two pretty equal parts. The first part was personal testimony that was given by survivors of the tragedy. It added a human interest element to what could otherwise be a pretty dry subject. And it was pretty striking to hear not just the survivors' accounts of the actual fire, but to hear about the build-up to what would eventually become the day of the fire, and all of the small details that really bring together the larger picture of why this event was so important in early 20th century American history.
The last thing I remember seeing was my sister Marie, enveloped in flame.
Down came the bodies in the shower, burning.
The cause of these workers had been underlined in blood.
Now, the second part is the historical context. So they had the personal narratives, and then they had historians contextualizing all those details. So I learned a lot about why the women of the factory began to consider striking, and the tensions between the employer and the factory workers, and just about life in New York in the early 20th century. I think it did a really good job of providing a holistic narrative about this event. So I think that it was a very informative, enjoyable way to spend an hour, and I would definitely recommend this documentary to anyone or who's looking to learn about either women's history in the early 20th century or about the labor union movement in the early 1900s. I think that it did a really good job of giving information in both of those subject areas. And I hope that anyone who watches that documentary enjoys it and learns something new, and that it gives you the impetus to continue browsing through Canopy and seeing what else it has to offer, along with some of our other online resources. So thank you for listening to this video. I had a really great time learning something new and sharing it with you. I hope everyone is staying as safe and sane as possible during this time, and I look forward to seeing you whenever we reopen. Have a good day. Bye.